Hello family, my name is Oyama. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel I talk about God's people, God's promises and God's principles. Today I'm going to be sharing the reason why I think Noah cursed his son Ham and his grandson Canaan after Ham witnesses his father Noah uncovered in his tent, and he goes and tells his brothers who come and do something about it. Just a rewind or a backdrop in terms of this story. This is after Noah has done the big assignment that he was commanded by God to do. So just a background, God, there's sin on earth and God wants to do something. God has decided to send a flood. It has never rained before. Noah has never witnessed a rain before, so it will be the first time that it rains. God decides to send a flood that is going to kill all living creatures and also human beings at that point in time, but he's going to spare Noah's life and his family. The Bible tells us that Noah had been walking with God and that he was blameless. God tells Noah what he's planning to do and instructs Noah and give them these specifications in terms of how he's going to build the ark. Noah continues and proceeds, starts building the ark with the help of his family, and then God also instructs him that he must take from each set of animals, from each animal a set, and then continues building the ark over a period of time, and then God tells him, now it's the time. God sends the rain. Noah is in the ark with all these animals and his family, his wife, 3 sons, and their wives. They are in the ark. It rains for 40 days and 40 nights, the Bible tells us. And then, but the whole thing takes about 7 months, 8 months, close to a year. That it rains, and then it starts, the rain starts to recede. And then Noah sends a dove to go and see if it's dry or not. And then that whole process takes for about, the Bible tells us that it takes about 150 days. At this point, Noah is 600 years of age. Now, God tells him, okay, now the job is done. You can get off the ark. And then God has a covenant with Noah where he tells him that he's never going to make it rain, and he's never going to kill human beings using a flood. He's never going to kill the whole entire human being or human race using a flood. No, he's never going to send a flood like that again. And then he tells him that there's going to be, when he's going to see a rainbow, that rainbow is a sign of God's covenant. So God blesses Noah and the covenant. God has this covenant with Noah. After now the covenant, God has the covenant with Noah. Now Noah goes back to his normal life, ordinary life. The Bible tells us now that he is a farmer. Noah farms, and then now Noah is growing the vineyard. As he's growing the vineyard, he takes the wine from his vineyard, starts drinking it, and gets drunk, and he lies uncovered in his tent. His son Ham comes and he sees his father uncovered. He goes back and tells his brothers, 2 brothers, Shem and Japheth, that his father is naked and lying uncovered in his tent. And then these 2 brothers, they take a sheet, put it behind them, then they walk backward to their father and they cover their father. The Bible tells us that they don't see him naked. So it's only Ham who saw him naked. Now, when Noah wakes up the following morning and realizes what had happened, he starts cursing Canaan, now who is the son to Ham. Starts cursing Ham, that Ham is going to be the servant, is going to be a servant to his brothers. And to his brother, the Bible mentions Shem. He's going to be a servant to his brother Shem and all of that. Now, what I want to get to is why I think Noah did this. First of all, Noah has just done this grand job, this big assignment for God. He's just saved the human race. God has just wiped everything on earth except for him and his family and the animals that he chose himself. The animals that God chose but followed Noah, were led by Noah. So, and imagine Noah has been on this ark for so many months, 150 days, with all sorts of animals in his presence. So this was a grand job for Noah. And all of a sudden now he has to go back to his ordinary life and he's just a farmer. God promised Noah that there's going to be now nations. He's going to be the first now there's going to be nations after him. There's going to be nations after Noah. Now, since he's going to be the first, remember there's no one else, now it's just them. So his children's children now, those are going to be nations. And even though there's this covenant, Noah is 600 when all of this happened, when he was called by God. And all of a sudden, it's quiet. What do you do when you used to have God on speed dial and all of a sudden now it's quiet? You have to go back to your normal, boring life. What do you do? So I believe Noah was also faced with that challenge. And when Ham came to see Noah, when Ham saw his father uncovered in his tent, his father was exposed. His father was vulnerable. Because nakedness represents vulnerability, it represents exposure. So he's exposed. He's vulnerable. And Ham, instead of covering his father, he goes and tells his other brothers. He goes and tells his other brothers, what do you do when you were just something yesterday and you perceive yourself as nothing today because you are no longer on the grand platform, you are no longer on that, maybe you had a hit movie or a hit song, and all of a sudden now you see yourself as nothing, as no one, valuable, as adding no value. When yesterday you were just the man or the woman. What do you do? So Noah found himself in that position where he was now like, who am I now? Who am I now without the things or the big accomplishments that I was doing? Who am I now? Am I with no value? Even though God had just given him a covenant. Because I believe that we see also this trend or this principle of God in the Bible where he would start an assignment with one generation and the assignment will continue because he's a God of generations. He's a God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's a God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are generations. So he may start a project or an assignment with your life, but that assignment may continue to other generations after you. Sometimes he has already started a generation before you, and the assignment may continue or end with you. That's who God is. He's a God of generations. So it seems to me that Noah did not understand this, or maybe he had what we call these days an imposter syndrome. That what does he do now? He has been having this, he has had God on his speed dial. All of a sudden now, God is quiet. Nothing is happening. So I think those are my thoughts, and we need to understand that yes, we added value. Seasons change. There are seasons of great abundance, great breakthroughs, and then there are seasons of resting and looking back at what you've done and just immersing yourself in God's presence, because it doesn't stop you. When you were yesterday having all these laurels, and all of a sudden now it's quiet, it's a season of rest for you, and you're feeling detached with God, that's where you need to even press harder on your relationship with God. That's where you need to press even harder on your relationship with God, because now it gives you the opportunity now to know God more and to know yourself more. Instead, let us not feel like God is done with us, He's exhausted. Because the Bible tells us your latter days will be greater than your former days. So God is not done with you until there is no more breath on your body. God is not done with you. So I believe that Noah perhaps at some point in his life was also feeling what we also feel when we feel like God is quiet, God is not saying anything after He's made this big promise, or after this big or grand achievement. Then all of a sudden He's quiet, He's not saying anything. But God always speaks. Those are my thoughts. If you do enjoy the content on this platform, please do subscribe and share, and also hit the bell for a reminder in case when I ever upload a new video, then you will be the first one to be notified. Thank you, family. Enjoy. Till next time. Goodbye.